Supplemental math videos from Circle Christian School.
Angles are all about the space in between. Although most people generally seem to do fairly well with how long a side is, measuring space in between two sides or lines sometimes isn't quite as simple. We can't use a ruler to describe that space in between because of the space is always getting larger the further you go out from the two sides. So we use degrees to actually do this measure, and a protractor measures degrees. We classify angles by what is actually happening to that space in between there. So the most basic one that we use to classify all the other angles are off of is going to be your right angle. Now, a right angle, I know you've seen many different places. Just look at a corner of a room here, and I'll describe a little bit why we can't use a ruler to measure in between here, and that's because if we put the ruler at this space, it would be a different size than it would be at this space in between. And that's why we have to use degrees to do the measure. So the most basic angle is going to be a right angle at 90 degrees. The next angle is what we call an acute angle. He's so very cute. And it's any angle that is basically smaller than 90 degrees. That is smaller than looking at the corner of the room. And the third angle is an obtuse angle. It's a larger angle. It just means that it's larger than 90 degrees or larger than the corner of the room. Now, using a protractor. Most protractors, you'll notice, have two different sizes depending on where you start from. Generally, we will actually start from the right-hand side and work our way back on a protractor toward 180 degrees. 180 degrees is a straight line. However, some angles are backwards, and we have to start from what is happening on the outside, coming back over to here. This can be a little bit confusing. Do I use the big number? Do I use the small number? Whatever. Well, it's just a matter of looking at your angle and seeing if it's something bigger than a right angle, a corner of a room, or something smaller than a right angle or a corner of the room. And that's going to dictate to you actually if you're using the smaller numbers or larger numbers depending on the side. Now here's the thing. All protractors basically have a place where the vertex of the angle is going to happen. This must be on the same vertex that it is on the angle. That's the place where the two rays meet. The next thing you're going to do is take a look as to whether your angle is something that is smaller than a right angle. You will also line up the bottom part of the angle, and you'll see it on most of your protractors, a nice little line that allows you to go line it up. Let me get my little pen here. That there will be some lines that are kind of like right here, and a lot of times, or oftentimes, there'll be a line that's here or over on the other side. And that's where you're going to line the bottom part of that angle to. Now, because this angle here is something that is a lot smaller than 90 degrees, I know I'm going to use a number that is smaller than 90, which is going to be my 40 degrees. Therefore, this angle is a 40-degree angle. And a lot of times with angles, we will signify it with this little curvature here that tells you I am measuring space or degrees. It is possible that we actually have an angle that is going to be a lot larger than something that's 90 degrees. And again, we'll put the vertex of the angle right here at the middle point. You'll be able to identify that on your protractor. If you're not sure, just ask me. I'll be happy to show you. And we line it up, the line here. And again, we have a little bit of a quandary. Am I using the small number here, or am I going to use the large number here? Well, as we look at this angle, we'll also again notice that it does happen to be larger than basically the corner of the room. And because it's larger than the corner of the room, we're going to use the larger number of 110 degrees. And that's how you measure an angle.